Hi Uvians, Harry here, and can someone tell me what just happened? This episode, the most recent episode of Doctor Who, the finale of Doctor Who Season 2, The Reality War, was just insane. And I am going to have a more coherent review of the actual episode later this week, but this is just going over basically my initial thoughts, because that episode was insane. I mean, first of all, starting at the end, I cannot believe, of course, spoilers, but there's probably going to be a spoiler in the thumbnail for this video, but Billie Piper has returned as the Doctor? I mean, Ncuti regenerates into Billie. I mean, there had been rumours. Unfortunately, I had been a bit spoiled. There was a theory going around that Ncuti could regenerate into Billie. I think there were three main people they were thinking of it being, because it said that the next Doctor was going to be female and familiar. So I think there was was it going to be Belinda? Because, of course, you know, the companion for this series, and she appeared in season 1 too. So was it going to be Belinda? Also, could it be resetting kind of the 14th Doctor and the 15th Doctor and going back to the 13th Doctor, and then she kind of like regenerates twice from the 13th Doctor into a new 14th Doctor? That was a rumour. And also the other rumour was that it was going to be Billie Piper returning and becoming the 16th Doctor. So yeah, that was crazy. Of course, the 13th Doctor was a fairy, because she also appeared in this episode. And Jodie Whittaker, I have a bone to pick with you. I met you and I asked you point blank, would you return to Doctor Who? You said yes, but you hadn't been asked back yet. Well, that was a lie. A couple of days later, you were announced to be working on a big Finnish Doctor Who audio drama, and then you return for Ncuti Gatwa's final episode as the Doctor. Okay, well, fine. Be like that then, Jodie. Be like that. Of course, I am just kidding, but yeah. The 13th Doctor appears, as well, seemingly pulled from her time stream and meeting the 13th Doctor. And it is kind of bittersweet how Ncuti, of course, is a more emotional Doctor, saying, you know, things like, I love you, whereas previous Doctors have been kind of unable to show their emotion. And it is bittersweet as the Doctor realises that her time is maybe coming to an end, that she should say that to Yaz. However, the 15th Doctor informs her that that never does happen, and you can see the hurt in the 13th Doctor's eyes, but the Doctor does console her in a way, saying Yaz does know how she feels about her, despite her not saying it. It's 10 with Rose all over again. Rose... The 10th Doctor never says that to Rose, but Rose knows it. And yeah, of course, she has now appeared as the 16th Doctor. I don't know, of course, the Doctor can be anyone. We saw that with the 12th Doctor having the face of Caecilius and it being a reminder to him to save people. What is this a reminder, though, of? What is Rose's face a reminder of the Doctor to do? Stay grounded? Be more emotional? I don't know. I just hope now that Doctor Who gets recommissioned for Series 3, and yeah, that we get an explanation to how Rose is the Doctor. Although she isn't credited as the Doctor, so it could be a fake out, a way how people thought that the 14th Doctor, when David Tennant returned, that might be a fake out, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But, of course, the main bulk of this episode was just crazy. I mean, you basically had to watch every single episode of the 15th Doctor's run, because you have Joy appearing as the star from Joy to the World, Anita, the hotel clerk, reappearing from, again, Joy to the World, Ruby, of course, from Series 1, Unit, again, from Series 1, Susan Triad, again, all from Series 1, Mal Bush, again, from Series 1, and also the classic era. And also, you had to go even beyond this era, because they showed the 12th Doctor and the 3rd Doctor as well, in, like, when Anita was, like, searching for the Doctor. It's just insane. And, of course, Mrs. Flood throughout the whole of this series and the previous series. But just talking about Mrs. Flood, the Rani was a huge letdown. She was killed instantly by Omega, and then Mrs. Flood just kind of was like, yeah, bye, I'm going now. So that was a huge letdown. This new Rani was brought back for one episode, basically. One! And she was killed by Omega, who was literally just blasted by the Doctor. Like, what happened? Also, the whole story with Poppy being maybe a part-time Lord, and even though that she is part of the Wish, she is real, and the whole of this season being rewritten so that Belinda isn't going back just to work her next shift. She is going back because she has a baby at home. And also, we never get to see Belinda's dad. I thought Belinda's dad was going to be like a past Doctor or someone previously from Doctor Who, because they were talking about him. We only saw Belinda's mum, and I thought it was going to be like a funny thing, like David Tennant turned up in like with a moustache and a funny accent. I literally thought something like that was going to happen. But of course, we never saw her dad. So, and just, there was so much going on. And the way that reality kept resetting back to the 23rd of May, and how even though the underworld had been broken up and Omega did enter into reality, the reality was still being, like, reset back. I don't know why, since the world did fall away, but I don't know. I guess I'll watch it again and hope I can just make something out of it. Yes, but this episode was insane. Of course, returning Doctors, saying goodbye to 2 companions, and saying goodbye to a Doctor who was gone before his time. Again, I haven't even mentioned Ncuti's really regeneration. He was gone before his time. And it is so sad that Ncuti only got 2 series. But I just 2 things I've heard. Don't cry because it's over. Be happy because it happened. And Ncuti's era was amazing. He was hitting his stride as the Doctor. But, of course, I think, as a wise man once said, what's left of us is love. And I think Ncuti will have only love for Doctor Who. I don't think he'll be like a Eccleston, where he looks on his time in the TARDIS with a bit of, he looks back on it with regret. And I don't think he'll be a Paul McGann who will feel a bit snubbed about his time in the TARDIS being short. Of course, both of these actors great. I mean, Paul McGann has returned before. He is an amazing, gracious man. And Christopher Eccleston, what happened with him was terrible, and it was no fault of his own. But I think Ncuti will look back on it with joy. As he says, joy to the world. And yeah, he was the most joyous Doctor. And yeah, it is sad that he is leaving, but I think Doctor Who has to return. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What did you think about this episode? It was just insane. And what do you think about the new Doctor being Billie Piper? And also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out. And I have to watch this episode again, because I don't know how I'm going to go through everything that happened in my review, because it was a lot, but I'll see you then.